The Yankees and the Guardians, they will face off in the American League Championship Series starting on Monday night. It's a rematch of the 2022 ALDS, which was won by New York. So let's preview the best-of-7 series. We're going to do it with a co-host on Yankees Morning Brew. Her name is Grace Monroe, and she joins me now. Grace, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Dexter, how are you doing? Thanks for having me on.
I'm doing good. I am fantastic. Love seeing you on Yankees Morning Brew. Even though you're in Texas, you are always repping for New York. We like it. So glad to finally connect with you here and talk about this. So Grace, let's start with looking at the pitching matchups in this series, because when you look at the Yankees, I think you can feel good about where Garrett Cole is this postseason, especially coming back from injury. But does any edge the Yankees can have in this series in terms of pitching depend on how Carlos Rodon and Clark Schmidt go into games, how deep they can go into games? Does that determine the edge they will have?
Yeah, I think you could say that with any series ever. You always want your starter to go as deep into the game as they possibly can. But especially in a 7 game series, where a bullpen can become a little overexposed if they're overutilized, you definitely want your starters to give you as much length as possible. And I think, we have a little bit of some secret weapons going on with our rotation, where we have like Luis Hill, who we haven't started yet in this postseason. And we have a couple options too with Marcus Stroman, who we have yet to hear if he's going to make the roster or not. Nestor Cortez, who again, is unknown if he's going to be included on the roster or not. So I'm thinking that, yeah, of course, length is going to be very important from our starters, and I hope we get it from them. And if not, we have a couple contingency plans. So I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, having those contingency plans, that's always good for sure. We'll see if the Yankees get length out of their starters there. But when you look at this lineup, Grace, Giancarlo Stanton, he's been a really good postseason performer for the Bronx Bombers, one of their best postseason performers of all time. And he showed out again in the Royals series in the ALDS. How key is it for Stanton to continue to swing a good bat in this series? And should Aaron Boone move him to the cleanup spot out of 5 and move him up one spot to the cleanup spot here in the ALCS?
Giancarlo Stanton has been absolutely showing out, going out, taking batting practice early, and really setting an example for the young guys on the team as the veteran who has had so much success in his career, so many home runs. His postseason OPS now at 964, which is higher than Mickey Mantle, Derek Jeter, and Joe DiMaggio. Have you ever heard of those guys? So, yeah, I'd say he's pretty important, and I'm sure he's going to keep going on his heater. Like we know, he usually goes on these hot streaks, so I'm hoping he's going to continue that. And I get why people are having the conversation of moving Giancarlo Stanton up into the cleanup spot in the order. And if we were playing the Tigers, I might want to consider it a little bit more. But since we're playing the Cleveland Guardians and their bullpen, their relief pitching is their strength, I don't want to give them any avenue with which to exact a pitching change to their advantage, where it's going to give them a righty-righty or lefty-lefty going back to back. So for me, I think we leave Giancarlo in the 5 hole for now. We can always, break glass in case of emergency later in the series, should that need arise. But for now, I want to leave him in the 5 hole.
All right, so leaving him in the 5 hole, leave Austin Wells in that cleanup spot. We'll see if that works out for the Yankees in this series against the Guardians. And Grace, look, it wasn't that long ago, just a bit over a month ago, there were so many concerns about the Yankees bullpen. However, the pen delivered 15 2/3 scoreless innings against the Royals. Are you confident in the Yankees bullpen once again, and do they have an advantage in relief pitching in this series?
Dexter, how can you not be confident in the Yankees relief pitching coming off a series where they allowed 0 runs? You can't get better than 0 runs. And the Guardians bullpen allowed 9 runs in their division series. So I don't know if I would say the advantage necessarily goes to the Yankees there. However, what I am going to say is I will see your Emmanuel Clase, and I will raise you a Luke Weaver, who has been an absolute revelation for the Yankees in that closing spot. So,
all right, I like that. I like the confidence in the Yankees bullpen. Again, if I probably talked to you a month and a half ago, not quite sure you might have had that same level of confidence, but
no comment,
like
no comment.
No comment. All right, we'll leave it at that. Now, you know this, Grace. The Yankees, they're heavy favorites to win this series and to make it to the World Series, obviously, if they win this series. Do you view this as a must-win ALCS for the Yanks, and how much pressure is there on the Bronx Bombers to deliver here and get back to the World Series?
I mean, there's always so much pressure on the New York Yankees. I mean, this might be the closest we've gotten with the clearest lane to the World Series in years. And with this being our only guaranteed year with Juan Soto, I would say yes, absolutely. There is quite a bit of pressure on the New York Yankees. However, I do believe that they can and will rise to this challenge.
All right, feeling confident about the Yankees. We're going to get your prediction in just a bit to see how many games you think the Yankees are going to win. Because I think I'm already projecting here. I don't think you're going to pick the Guardians here at all. But one more thing before we get to that. We generally focus on the veterans and stars, right, when it comes to breaking down a series. But which Yankees player do you think can be the X factor to New York beating Cleveland in the series?
You know what, Dexter? I'm so glad you asked me this question because any chance I get to talk about this guy, I want to talk about him. His name is Oswaldo Cabrera. I feel like this man is going to be an absolute X factor for the Yankees in the postseason. His defense, his speed, he can run the base pass, he can pinch hit, he can pinch run, he can play any position almost on the diamond. And I do believe that Oswaldo Cabrera will be the X factor for the Yankees. He continues to be underrated with a low-key power bat, situational hitting. I mean, I'm looking for Oswaldo Cabrera to have a great series.
All right, there you go. Oswaldo Cabrera as your X factor in the series. Okay, last thing for you, Grace. What's your prediction for this ALCS? Who wins in how many games and why? What you got?
All right. So I'm taking Cleveland. No, I'm just kidding. I am definitely picking the Yankees to win this series. And I considered 5 games, but I'm going to go with a safe 6 games. We're going to win 1 at home, 2 on the road with our road warrior Yankees, best road record in the American League, and then 1 at home to win the series in the Bronx. I think the story overall is going to be the Yankees power bats. It's going to be Bronx Bombers action all the way. We actually had the lowest strikeout rate per plate appearance against the Guardians of any other team in MLB this year. And I'm looking for that to make a big difference. So between us working long at bats and our power bats, I'm thinking it's going to be over in 6.
All right, Yankees in 6. A little bit disappointing, Grace. I thought you were going to say Yankee sweep. I thought you were going to bring out a broom and start sweeping here. But no sweep. Giving some respect to the Guardians. Yankees in 6. That is the pick from Grace Monroe. Check her out on Yankees Morning Brew. She does a fantastic job hosting with the crew on there. Grace, pleasure talking some Yankees baseball with you for the first time. We will do this again soon.
Absolutely, Dexter. Thank you so much. Go Yankees.
There you go. Thank you.